Hello, everyone. So today, third session of talk about calculation, and today we'll talk about visualization. And visualization can probably mean many things for many people. Hi, Yoga. What it means in this context is the ability to see the board when you're not looking at it. And I'm just going to give you my take on this. I'm by no means an expert in this field. The expert is Ramesh, and we will get him to talk about it at some point. And you also, some of you will have seen his dream room, where he does work very heavily with visualization. So I used to have a reasonable good visualization, I thought. It came through a number of things I did over the years. I went through Fire on Board by Alexei Shirov, where I just had the positions. And then I was going through the variations that he was writing down, and I was seeing them blindfold. I was working on in-game books with few pieces, which often led to long variations. And I was going through them blindfold. And again, it's very good if you can find some not very good in-game books from before the computer era. I'm not gonna put anyone to the slaughter today. But basically, I was able to sometimes refute the analysis of the author blindfold. There was some really poor analysis, and that made it much more interesting. With Shirov, I wasn't able to do that, though today you can find many holes in his analysis with a computer. But simply this thing of going through the lines and looking at where the pieces are and so on. And I do prefer pre-computer era books because the variations are not the best move at all times. So it gives you a chance to look at them and think about it. So I did that, and I played a tournament in Budapest where we played up in the hills on the one side of the city, and we lived in the absolute opposite side of the city. And it was a tournament in the summer, and after the game we would walk back to the hotel, and it took about 2.5 hours. We would take a break in the middle at a restaurant and have dinner, and then we would continue walking. And while we were walking, we were analyzing our games together. So I would explain to him what happened in my game, and he would come with suggestions, and he would explain his game, and I would come with suggestions, and we would analyze variations. And although I played very badly in the tournament, I think it was good for my chess. And 2 years later, I made all my GM norms. But this didn't prepare me for the shock of working with Ramesh's students. In March last year, I had a training camp in Chennai with Pragnananda, and a few of his friends joined in. Kartikeyan, Aravind, his sister Vaishali, and also Adiban. Adiban is not a chess Gurukul student as such. He's, they're friendly. He has participated in some things there, but he is not from the school, so to speak. The others all are. And the days where there was just the 4 of them, I could show a position on the board, and then after that, I could turn off the screen, and I would never have to refer to where the pieces were again, going back and forward, suggesting this and that. They would always have the position in their head. It was just there, stone cold. And this is something they have achieved by training. And I think it's a significant reason why there's such a success in chess Gurukul. Ramesh says it takes about a week to learn to visualize the board fully. I think it takes longer, but he knows what he's talking about more than I do. But anyway, I was very fascinated with this experience, and I was thinking, okay, I need to test the GMs that come and visit me in Glasgow or will work with other places and see how good the visualization really is. And it turned out in many cases it wasn't very good. So what I decided to do with some students was I had one position, which we're not going to look at today, but I had one position where over the years people have suggested, I think 14 or 15 different moves, and all of them lead to very interesting variations, some of them very long. So we would go through these variations blindfold, and we would talk about options, and then 6 move into a variation, 10 moves into a variation, 15 moves into a variation, 20 moves into a variation. I would ask them a question, okay, what are the options here? And we would do candidate moves, and we'd do calculation based on a position far in advance. The first student I did this with was very, very strong player, good deal over 2,600. We did it for about 6 hours. We went through most of the lines in the position at the time. Every time I go through the position with someone, that comes new suggestions, new variations, and new interesting possibilities. So it's much longer now. But we went through the position, the various lines in 6 hours. And it was 3 hours, lunch, then another 3 hours, some of it while walking. And then after that, we had dinner and he went to bed. He was totally exhausted. And he was very forthcoming with the fact that he felt it incredibly challenging. And he generally felt that in calculation, he would often have situations where the piece that he had captured earlier would worry him later, or a piece he had sacrificed would suddenly be responsible for doing this or that. And these kind of mistakes from a very strong player were surprising me, and probably meant that I had a reasonably good visualization. But I don't have the visualization that Pragnananda or Vishali or Karthik or Arvind have, or all the other students of this school. I have many assets they don't have, which is natural since I've played chess for 35 years, and their combined age is over 35, but only if you take 3 of them. So still, my thinking is that this is a very important skill to work on. Over time, I will create more material on that, and I'm planning a book on calculation to be published next year. And in this book, there will be a lot of discussion about visualization as well. But in this session, I was thinking we would do some visualization work with some different positions, and we'll see how it works out. And the first position, we're just going to start with a position, but when we get to the second position, we're going to be a little bit hardcore. So let me find the first position for you. So this is a position from a game between Wesley So and Adiban, played in Tata Steel 2018. And it's an interesting scenario. White has just played knight db5, sacrificing a piece. So how should we approach this position?